Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm gonna jump into it. I'm gonna go look at the different currency pairs. Obviously, GBP, JPY is one of them, with the potential of what about 129 pips. But we're gonna look at every single other currency pair as well. This is one of those. It's one of those charts that, as you guys can see, within this area right here, price is really not really going anywhere at all. I can look at it and I can see that price is doing a sideways movement. Okay. But I always like to look back and to see how exactly we could have been ready for certain things to happen. So I'm going to look back at it again. I always highlight the areas where market reversed. Obviously, market is dropping right now. But if I look closely, I start to see the technicals that I didn't see. And if we were just patient enough to wait on what we could have been capitalizing on. And that's the whole main point. The reason why we go back into the charts, the reason why we go back into looking at exactly what happened is for us to become self-sufficient and for us to learn. And to be honest, the way that I've learned the best is through back testing. It's to understand exactly on why market is moving the way it did. Okay, so every single day, what I would do is I would look at multiple currency pairs, and I would highlight the areas where we could have entered, and I also draw it up so that way I could see exactly the reason of why. Okay. Yes, we're looking for trade setups over here from this area, but at the same time, price moved back up. So if you really look at it, there's a reason why for the trend lines, we keep it where price is testing multiple times. And even if price isn't touching it, not even up close to it at all, we just have to have faith and have to, trust our technicals and be patient. Does everybody understand why patience is key just by this little entry right here? Does everybody understand why patience plays a big part into trading currencies? So it takes a while. I promise you guys, it does take a while for us to really understand. And before I used to rush into it, I used to rush into it and say, hey, I have to trade today because I'm on the markets right now. I have to trade. I have to trade. I have to trade. But if I was just simple, if I was just being patient, I could have been able to see how price tested multiple times within this trend line. And by being patient, no matter all the moves that were going on here, I should have just been patient and to wait for price to come up and touch this trend line. Obviously, this is a respected area. Obviously, seeing it test, once, twice, three times, four times, multiple times here, another time here, and by being patient and waiting is how we could have gotten into this setup. Okay, because if we were waiting, we waited for this candle to close after it touched it. There was no drawdown. Okay, you had a potential of 43 pips, but even right now, where price is at is 25 pips. Price looks like it's still dropping as we speak, but still sideways movement. But at least we understand why price did what it did. Okay, so it gives us a more added feel based off of our confirmations. We're all not perfect, but at the same time, we do have to understand that patience is key. Patience, patience, patience. Okay, even though that we have like a setup to the point where it's hitting a zone, it's hitting resistance or support, or it's hitting a pullback, not confirming even with just the trend line, you could be able to see on how even if we entered within these areas over here, how we would have been in at least a little bit of a drawdown, at least of 12 pips, which is not that much of a drawdown, but at the same time, we want accuracy. We want to be able to understand exactly when to enter, and that's the key thing, right? Does everybody agree in the fact that even with all the technicals, the one thing that we look for is what? Entries, correct? So with USD JPY, pretty much that's exactly what happened yesterday. Look a little choppy. Prices just going up and down, not really knowing where it's going. But if you take if you take a look back, if you just really look at it after what price has done, you start to see on exactly where we could have entered. All right, everybody good for the recap on USD JPY? Do you guys want the pictures of these as well? Awesome. This is a perfect example of all confirmations, being put together. All right, next, Euro USD. Excuse me, guys. So for Euro USD, there's a reason why I said to be patient. There's a reason why I put these lines here of what to be patient for in order for us to enter. There's a reason why I put the lines here in order for us to be patient of when to enter. Now, like I said, price is doing a sideways movement. All right. Look, price looked like at one point with this green candle where this wick was, that means there was a green candle before. Okay. At one point, this was a candle. And then it faked everybody out and created a wick and continued to drop. There's a reason why I do this. There's a reason why I have, high area of, hourly resistance and then a low area of hourly support. The price is moving back and forth, right? Within this area, it's pretty much ranging. Like, this might not seem like super consolidation, but it honestly it is. Price is just bouncing up, down, up, possibly could be going down. But at the same time, in order for us to really make that massive push, right, in order for us to really understand what the next movement is going to be, we just have to be patient. A lot of this stuff happens here. I don't like to trade that stuff because in all reality, you really don't know where it's going. Price could be dropping, price could be moving, price could be dropping. Whereas I could have just waited right here for an area of it breaking, which it did. Okay. I'm giving you guys an example of why we would be waiting for this to happen. As I can see, it's also a zone here. You saw how price broke above it and then tested and went up. You still have the potential of 185 pips, 190 pips. But what this is, by just being patient, it's just a guaranteed confirmation of where price is moving to. Okay. It's giving you that confirmation that you got a piece of the market structure. That's our whole main point, is to capture pieces of the market so that way we could collect our profit. Same way with this. Okay. You can see here, we could have collected our piece. Up here, we could have collected our piece because there's support here. There's resistance here. We could have collected our piece. We could have collected our piece. That's the way that I see it. Before I used to be like, okay, how much do I really need to collect? Well, in all reality, all I need to do is capture the market structures within areas or within currency pairs so that way I could be able to just have profit for that day. Right. So by being patient here is exactly what would have been the reason for you to profit this entire pit movement. All right. And that's the reason why we're still being patient for this area. Sideways movement, support, resistance, obviously resistance still, support, sideways movement, nothing going on. Yes, you could have been that type of person. It could have been, holding on to the trade, buying it, collecting the 78 pips, everything, etc. But at the same time, especially for the new people that's on here, you want to be able to capture the guaranteed pips and the confirmed movements instead of guessing, right? Yes, based off technicals, we could have entered here, we could have entered here, could have entered here. But at the same time, look where price is moving. It's not really moving that much. Does everybody agree on this? All right. So that's good for your USD. I don't think we need to take a picture of that one because I think we already have that. Does anyone need the picture for this? Oh, you need this one? All right. So that's it for your USD. Let's look at gold. All right. Look what price did. Price still stayed in the same general vicinity. Doesn't gold pretty much look similar to Euro USD, except it's just in the opposite side? You know, gold's over here, Euro USD is over here, right? So look, the only time I really want to get excited is when price broke this area, which it didn't. Okay, price didn't break this area either. So because of that, I don't really know where price is going. You know, what if price does reverse off this area, utilizes this area, right? Hits 1, 2, 3 times to the bottom and then rises up. Or price could just drop below and continue along with this trend, as I could see right here, and continue to break below. Now the thing is, instead of guessing, we need to confirm. We need to wait. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, just making sure. All right, so for gold, it's pretty much the same thing. Sideways movement, an area of hourly support or resistance, an area of hourly support is ranging in between, is consolidating in between, not really making that much big movement. Okay, wasn't like even just like UCGPR where at least is moving a little bit and making lower highs. Right, it's pretty much staying the same. Made lower highs, but also made higher highs. I don't know where it's going, and we don't want to force it. Okay, we're still going to keep this aspect. We're still going to keep this of exactly what we're waiting for in order for us to enter. Nothing changed. We're going to keep it simple. Okay, perfect. All right. Next, you guys need a picture of this? Or you guys good? All right. This is perfect. Trending. Okay. I hope people made some money off GBP JPY. Is there anybody on here that made money off GBP JPY? It's good. That's good. Even if it's in demo, that's perfectly fine. You know, that's our whole main point. It doesn't matter if it's demo. It doesn't matter if it's live. The main point is the fact that we're understanding the art of trading currencies and we're understanding the skill set. And when we look onto the charts, it's not like we look at it and we're confused on exactly what's going on. Like for the people that have been on here for the past weeks, for the past couple months, are you guys starting to see the pattern within everything? Are you guys starting to see the repetition of this? And the only thing that stops us really is our own greed or our own emotional effects or not sticking to our disciplines or not sticking to our confirmation. Once we drill it into our head that if we just stick and we look at setups and we wait for it to hit certain areas, we watch and we're patient, that you could be able to capture as much pips as you want. When I first came into the markets, I was happy with 20 to 30 pips. You know, when in the beginning, I was just like, oh, I made 10 pips, 15 pips, 20 pips. But in all reality, I realized that I was limiting myself where I could have been capturing hundreds of pips every single day. I don't want to limit, my trading style. I don't want to limit, the potential of what Forex has to offer. You know what I'm saying? We'll go over entries today for sure. We'll do that then. We'll go over the technicals and entries today and twin trading one more time. Does that sound good? Awesome. So for GBP JPY, it was simple. There's even trend going all the way across. Okay. I saw that the trend was hitting, was touching once, twice, three times, again, and again. Okay. Simple. Level of support, previous resistance, level of support, level of support, resistance, resistance, resistance. So what this is a strong area. All right. A very strong area. And also there's a zone here. I did one of the wicks, the body of the candles, and the technicals. Now, by being patient and waiting for it to hit, even after this red candle, was there any drawdown? Even if you've entered here, maybe there's a little bit of drawdown. Maybe there's like a 3 pip drawdown, which is not that much at all. Okay, but the potential of what we could have collected after just waiting for that to close, right? It's still the potential of 115 pips. And 115 pips off one pair, does everybody agree that's a pretty good day off one pair if you're trading that pair? Now, with the price dropping to where it's going, I look closely, okay? I see another level of support. And I see another level of support. I see another level of resistance, right? Then I look closely and I look how it broke this level and came up to test. When it tested, pretty much kissed off of it. Even if we entered off that point, that's 36 pips, right? So we want to learn how to like dissect this and to be able to capitalize on all the movements, know exactly where price is going, and be able to get the perfect entries. That's what it's all about. When to get in the trade, like what to look for, when to get in and when to get out. That's it. That's how simple it is. Before, I used to have my charts all crazy, like I used to have everything on there, but in all reality, all I had to do was keep it simple. And as you guys can see, from stuff like USD JPY, pretty simple. One line, one box, one horizontal line. I have 2 boxes here, 2 horizontal lines waiting for it to break. Okay, same thing here, right? With GJ, simple. Trend line, zone, support, which is newfound resistance, and then it dropped. And you don't have to put that many support resistance lines. That's what I'm saying. Like if you want to say, for instance, you didn't see any of this, okay? Say you didn't see any of this area, right? Pretend the area is gone. So look closely. This is all I would have done to be able to enter this trade, okay? Look closely. Trend line. Perfect. You see how it's touching this trend line? Touch, touch, touch. Now, with this, after it came up and touched this trend line once, twice, another time, the level of support here and resistance, price came up and tapped off of it. The moment it did, if you entered, even based off of just this wick closing right there, even this red candle, there's no drawdown. Since there's no drawdown, you still could have collected 227 pips. So with that, deleting this red box, this is all you need. Do you see multiple support and resistance lines here? Is there a lot of support and resistance? There isn't. What I'm doing is I'm looking for areas that are relevant according to the market at that current time frame. All right. And then when price continued along with a trend, all I do is delete this, drag this line, bring it down here, and look, same thing happened. Continue along with the trend, level of support, now newfound resistance. Now all of a sudden, boom, there's another entry for you to have entered. All right. And then we do it again. We look closely. We adapt to the markets, look exactly where trends are. Right. We see where it is. Say I delete this box, drag this all the way down. I look closely, look closely, look closely. Look for the zone within the area, which is right here. And then boom, there you go, another entry. I'm gonna highlight the entries. I'm gonna go deep into it once I break down the technicals even more in detail again. But you see how I don't have to have too much in the charts. Everybody see that? Again, support, support, another zone. Price continued and then dropped. Keeping it simple. But when you first look at this, it's kind of like I don't know where it's going. But once you start to understand and start looking at price pretty much like a ladder, you start to see it. You know, I'm not gonna tell you guys to put this many trend or swarm resistance lines, but I want you guys to see how you see it like steps, 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 steps. Once you start to see it like that and break it down, you start to see how crazy. Look, steps, 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 steps. I could literally just take this, literally just this line. Look, break, touch. Okay, see it again. Break, touch. Okay, awesome. Right here, break, touch. Even come back up and touched again. What did it do? It broke and then touched. Do you guys see it? So just to recap yesterday, now is it. You guys remember this trade set up yesterday? You guys remember this one? Somebody call it EuroCAD. We drew it up real quick, and you see how simple it was. So what did price do? Tested off this trend line, came up, broke this level of resistance, tested as support, and then it took off for about 159 pips. could have collected this piece right here. Our entry is over here. Look how price broke above, tested, stuck to the trend line. Very simple trade, right? It takes time, and after a while, you start to see it. And once you see it, it'll become a lot easier. But the only way to see it is by coming onto these sessions and studying. And what I do is I just back test. Like I said, I back test so that way I could understand why. That was my whole main point when I was like looking at entries and setups and stuff like that. I'll see how price would move in 100 pip movements, and then I always ask myself why. Then it got to a point, right? And then it got to a point where I started watching other people, and there's all this math that was involved, and you know, how do you determine if it's a buy or a sell? Well, if it's going off this trend, if it's breaking resistance and testing a support, then I'm looking for a buy. That's what the pullback is for. So if it breaks the ceiling and becomes the floor, obviously, if it's the floor, you're looking for a buy because you want price to go up. That makes sense? Yes, combined with all the other technicals. So pullback, which means like breaking the ceiling, becoming the floor, breaking the floor, becoming the ceiling. That's just one of the confirmations. I don't know. I never read any books on trading. Never read any books on trading currencies. I don't want to lie to you guys. I'm just being honest. I wanted to be that person. I just like I don't know. Like for me, I'm more of a hands-on, and like I saw that in all reality, to really know and understand forex, I have the charts in front of me. So I have the charts in front of me. Like if you look, you go into the past, guys. Like you go into the past. I didn't even know I had this drawn up. That's perfect right here. This is going to be a good example to show you guys entries. I'll look into the past and I'll see how simple. What blue lines? But yeah, so like I was saying was I realized that I see the charts, I see where it moves. It's kind of like going to school for business, and the professor, like we always talk about all the time, has never had a Fortune 500 business or made 6 or 7 figures from business. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I could read the books. I probably will read books because I'm always going to learn. But at first, I wanted to go into the charts. I want to go into the charts. I wanted to see the answers. There's resistance. It became the floor, right? Resistance became the floor. Right, look, it broke above. Even there's a little line of resistance right here, and it became the floor. It broke the ceiling, and it became the floor. Okay? It broke the ceiling over here, became the floor. Broke the ceiling over here, became the floor. Broke the ceiling, became the floor. What do you mean the one that I just did? No, what the box is for is the price reversal zone, which I'll break down. But do you guys see what I mean, though? I started circling areas of where price reversed, and then I started to draw why. Guys, from now on, everything that I teach you guys on here, trend line, zones, support and resistance, is everything that I use. End of story. Period. A lot of people all the time they're always just like, there's no way, there has to be. No, there isn't. You can't if you can't learn how to use like the regular technicals of these lines. There's no point of us using Fibonacci if you can't even figure out basic technicals. There's no point of us using other indicators if you can't know how to draw a line and wait for price to bounce off of it. You mean there's no point of us using other indicators if we can't draw from the wick to the body of the candle and watch how price reacts in it. Does that make sense? The thing is, I'm just saying that to be honest. When it switches, when it switches, so you know how resistance becomes support or the ceiling becomes a floor. The price breaks the floor and becomes the ceiling. There's a trend change. And then when it does it again, when it changes the trend, look, consolidation, breaks the ceiling, becomes the floor. Breaks the ceiling, becomes the floor. Right? Breaks the ceiling, becomes the floor. Breaks the ceiling, becomes the floor. And what does it do again? Oh, breaks the floor, becomes the ceiling. Breaks the floor, becomes the ceiling. It's a constant thing. Which is exact opposites. Okay. So yeah, that's how simple this was right here. Because once you understand this and you look at it, now you know what a trending market looks like, and then now you know what to wait for, and that's it. That's how patience plays into it. Confirmations play into it. All right. So for GU, what are we looking at? Let's look closely here. All right. First off, how was the trend in the beginning, anyways? Right? The level of support. Nope. Level of support. Level of support. Now what did I do yesterday? What blue lines? Are you talking about these blue lines right here? Guys, everything that I do on these charts is exactly how it's like there's no other way. Like if I show you guys on the 1 hour, like it's always been 1 hour to draw everything up, 30 minute for entries. So what are you saying about the blue lines? The last chart where it broke out. Can you clarify? I'm kind of confused. All right, so I'm going to continue. Are we good to continue? Everything below last chart was that considered sideways movement. This right here, yeah, same thing as this. Same thing as this. The same thing, and it broke out. So now we know exactly what we're looking for gold or for Euro USD, because Euro CAD broke out of it. Make sense? All right. So yeah, that pretty much broke that down. I'm gonna continue. Are we good to continue? All right. If I look closely and look at this again, look at these pieces, guys. How simple this is. By being patient and waiting, 172 pip drop. By being patient and waiting, 181 pip drop. By being patient and waiting, 122 pip drop. Now, what were we looking for? What did price do? It broke the floor and became the ceiling. Broke the floor again, came all the way back up, became the ceiling, hit the trend line perfect. What did it do? Bouncing off, broke it, tested, and then dropped again. All right. Now, looking at how we could capitalize and how we could have entered yesterday was simple. I like to break it down into piece by piece. Because the more that it gets ingrained into our minds, like the different types of setups we could be looking for, and it becomes a lot easier. Okay, look, level of support, price, tested. Even if we entered off this red candle right here, we had a little bit of drawdown. How much was the drawdown? Let's check. 17 pip drawdown. But you had a 58 pip movement. No, they're not. It might take a full day. This depends. That's the reason why you have multiple charts set up, because no matter what, one of them is going to have a movement. One of them is going to have a movement. One of them is going to have a movement. One of them is going to have a movement. One might not. One might not. And one might not. Does that make sense? You know, these Forex basic sessions are not recorded. Reason being is because we want to keep it to the point where we could still have the community. Everybody could chat. Everybody could ask questions because it's an interactive service. But let me show you guys something real quick. You guys see this? It's a little sneak peek. You guys see this right here? Trading view tutorial. Support and resistance. Price reversal zones. This is a little sneak peek. All right. So does that make sense though when it comes to does that make sense when you guys are gonna love it? Does that make sense when it comes to this whole thing? Like, yeah, sometimes it might take a day movement. I need those now. Just like in Forex, guys, patience. It's gonna be an iML Academy, guys. I'll probably be done by at least Christmas because there's a couple of key things that coming out. Jason Brown helped out a lot when it came to like some of the topics and everything. When it comes to examples such as like opening a live and demo account, having an actual video breaking that down, how to log in through your MetaTrader 4 and how to place trades on your MetaTrader 4, all those key things. So don't think just me, think Jason Brown as well. But let's continue along with this because I want you guys to understand these entries, okay? So that's how we could have entered yesterday, right? But if we just dissect this chart real quick, just so you guys can see closely on what different entries look like, okay? Well, actually, I lied. Let's go into USD CAD real quick so we can see everything. All right, so you see, is this self-explanatory? Does everybody start to see the look how this looks so similar to USD CAD? Do you see this? What 4-hour charts? So once you start to understand what to look for and it does the same things over and over and over and over and over again, then we're just patient to wait for it to happen. And if we waited for it to happen, we waited for that test, this is exactly where I would have entered. I saw boom, touch, touch. The moment it made this green candle and this wick, this one right here, you guys see where I'm pointing at, right? You guys see where I'm pointing at? No, I'm not saying similar to which pair. I'm just saying like EuroCAD. It's not even just the fact that it's similar to a certain pair. All the Forex markets does everything the same. Does everything the same. I'm just saying, look at this pattern and then look at this pattern. Isn't it the same thing? Let's keep it simple. But this, once this happened, I would have entered. Was there any drawdown? Yeah, probably like 2 pips, whatever. That's nothing, okay? But you would have collected at least 91 pips. By drawing out this line, waiting for it to break this line, and waiting for it to test that line. Come on, guys. You see how easy this is? It's so powerful. Technical analysis is amazing. I love it. Now this, okay. So I want to show you guys something. Giving out a buy for GPUSD. Do I think it'll go back up? Like I said, I only could give my analysis. So my analysis has showed constant downtrend. You see it. All right. So I want to show you guys something. You guys see this entire area, starting from right here. You see it starting from right here, this entire area. This to me is heaven. When a chart starts to do this, that's when it gets exciting. And can anyone tell me why at all? Just throw out some answers. All right, let's stay focused on this. All right, so yes, trending market. And the reason why is because I want to spend at least the last 11 minutes teaching you guys entries. You guys want to go over entries? And yes, you guys are all right. History repeats itself. Like everything. Ladder, trending market, it's all correct. So perfect. Look at this. The reason why I like this is, oh my gosh, you could flip an account so easily when it starts to be a trending market. Now let's look closely. Okay. I'm gonna show you multiple entry points. And like I said, I don't usually put like all the support resistance lines. I'm only doing it right now because I'm showing you guys an example, okay? I don't want anybody to get confused. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 times we could have entered this trade, right? I'm gonna show you guys exactly why. I'm gonna highlight the areas where we could have entered so that way you guys could see, okay? Then I'll take a picture of it and you guys can save it. Promise me that when you guys start to see a trending market like this, please get excited. Please get really, really excited. So okay. Also, too, I don't have to draw it, but you guys can see it, right? You guys can see the trends. You guys see the trends, right? Be careful. Let's dissect this real quick. All right. Level of support which is a floor. It broke the floor, came up to test as a ceiling. There's a trend line along here. Test, test, even tested here. Let's look closely on this on a 30-minute. So once it broke the floor, the moment you see this green candle, the moment it made this red candle, okay, you can even do this, more accurate. Okay, the moment it broke, tested as a ceiling, green candle, that red candle right there, I would have entered. Okay, right there, the drawdown was probably like 2 pips. Boom, there's your 107 pip movement. Price came back up again, but you have to remember that there's a trend line. Now, even if you waited for this red candle to form, even if you took that trade, you were negative maybe 13 pips before it went positive. How many pips? Jeez, hundreds of pips. Okay. What did price do? It broke the floor, made a green candle, made this red candle. As you guys can see, red candle with a wick on the top, support, resistance, okay, and then it dropped. If you entered after this red candle, was there any drawdown? No, there wasn't. Okay, look at this. I'm trying to get the red line. Okay, so price broke this level of support. The fact that it came up and made this wick and tapped off of this and closed, and then made a red candle, I would have entered. Yes, I would have probably been in drawdown a little bit, about 19 pips, whatever. For me, that's fine. But what did it do? How many pips did it drop though? Over 115, actually a lot more. I'm showing you guys the examples of what to look for. Even though it made this wick here, if you wanted to wait for it to come up and test again, you made this red candle, boom, you could have entered it. Did you put all those different enter price to buy? Can you clarify that? All those enter point you did, do you put all those different enter price? I don't know what you're saying. Could you clarify, please? How often do I watch the trend lines move up and down? Okay, look, I understand some of the questions, but some of it I don't. So for stop losses, okay, it's depending on how much you want to risk in your account. If I see it coming along this area, depending on the pattern, that's fine. I'll put my stop loss above the wick. Okay, I'll put my stop loss above the wick. Okay, I'll put my stop loss above the wick. All right, I'll put my stop loss above the wick. Does that make sense? How can we set the stop loss when analyzing those trends? You mean, okay, so do you understand that? I'm trying to clarify, because how can we set the stop loss when we're analyzing those trends? Everything's like, we're looking at a trending market right now. What do you mean stop loss when analyzing those trends? When I set a trade, I set a stop loss. That's what you mean. But on how I decide on how much I'm willing to lose, I make sure that I'm only risking 2 to 4% of my account, and to me myself, 10% max. What duration of chart? Okay, what duration of chart do I use, guys? Can somebody answer that? Because I remember I said it like 3 times. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Perfect. Thank you guys for paying attention. I don't mind answering the questions, but I also remember the names of the people that asked the questions, and even when they ask more than 2 or 3 times. So I highly, highly suggest, because this is what worked for me, was to take a piece of paper and just write down like little tiny things that is necessary for you to like trade, whether it's the confirmations, the hourly type of charts to use, everything like that, etc. Because if not, out of sight, out of mind, and you'll forget it. I promise you that. So remember, I remember the names on here. I check the market whenever, man. Like, there's no guys. The reason why I made this trading style, or like even started doing it like this, just going off just negative forex, is to make it as simple as possible and as lenient, and to be free. That's the whole main point. I have setups. I could look at it every hour. I could look at it every 20 minutes. I could look at it every 4 hours. It just depends. It depends if price is breaking an area of support that I'm waiting for it to test, or if it's breaking area of resistance that I'm waiting for it to test. Guys, just I understand to be by the book with this stuff, but be by the book with the confirmations and certain things. But other than that, be free with it. Just be free with it. When we overcomplicate things is when everything just like see how simple we made it, right? A lot of people will take something so simple, and I trust me because I know this from experience because I've done it, and make this seem like it's 1,000 times harder. Trend line, check. Resistance, check. Resistance as support, check. Zone, check. Enter. No emotions. Just take it. Broke support, check. Resistance, check. Pullback, zone, check. Take it. All right? That's the whole main point. All right? Let's go back to entries. Finish this up. Look what happened. Price broke an area of support, came back up and test. What did it do? Made this really big green candle and touched the trend line, made this red candle. Even if I entered, was there any drawdown? Maybe like 2 or 3 pips. And then it dropped. Right? Now look at this. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. When I see price break an area of support and it comes up, makes a wick, a green candle, if I see a really, really, really large red candle, or if it's in the uptrend, a really, really large green candle, I honestly don't take that trade until I see another retest. Does it make sense? Because I don't want to deal with the drawdown of 46 pips. Does that make sense? I don't want to deal with that drawdown. If I see a huge candle like that, I just don't enter and I wait to see if there's a retest. If there's no retest, then I don't enter. I don't want to deal with that big drawdown. Okay? All of a sudden, what did price do? It broke. Touch on the trend lines. Touch, touch. Broke. Wait, 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 wait. Support as resistance. The moment it made one of these red candles, I would have entered. It touched the trend line, and then boom, perfect. What did it do? It broke. Now look what happened here. Came up, tested support as resistance, made a really big red candle. I still wouldn't have entered. The reason being is that candle is huge. I don't want to deal with a drawdown. Price comes back up, makes another red candle. To me, still don't want to enter. But then it comes back up, makes this little red candle right here. I would have entered. I would have been in drawdown probably about 12 pips, 13 pips. It's fine. And then next you know, price comes down and then gaps. It's all the way down. Does that kind of clarify a little bit on entries? Oh, didn't even change the time. Awesome. So, Casa. Awesome. So, That's pretty much it for the beginner session for Forex Basics. I wanted to go into detail on market structure and entries for you guys. I appreciate you guys' time. You guys have a good beginner session, or was it pretty clear? Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Remember, I'll have the video. I'll have the trading view tutorial done. Support and resistance, price reversal zones, pullbacks, trend lines. There's no 2 a.m. session tonight. We have that all set up. I'll break down more on twin trading in the next beginner session. So I will see you guys on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So you guys have a good weekend. Happy holidays. Spend time with your family. Spend time with the people you love. No matter what, even though we're over here tracking this abundance and this money, also remember on why you're doing it in the first place. Okay? Forex could consume you and you can just be chasing money, but in all reality, you have to be with the people that we love. You know what I'm saying? So happy holidays. Appreciate you guys. And you guys have a wonderful weekend. See you guys on Sunday.